So what I've done is I've taken some of this browny orange clay, I've taken some white clay, and I've taken some yellow. I had more of the white and the yellow, and I only had a small piece of the brown. And then I've mixed them together and conditioned them, and then I've rolled them out using the roller, and I used 2 popsicle size for the thickness, so you had one on either side and just rolled it to that thickness. And then I've taken a large cutter, size 1, and that's the largest of my plain cutters, and I just cut over the top. Now what I'm doing is I'm just going to go around the edge with my finger here and just push the edge up like so, and then we're going to, once I've got it all up all the way around, some few bits, don't worry about the inside of that because you won't see it because you're going to have your pumpkin pie filling in there. Once I've got it all the way up all the way around, I'm going to bake it in the oven with a foil collar around the outside to keep it standing up. I shall come back and show you that once I've got it all nicely stood. So hopefully you can see this. I've placed my clay on a ceramic tile, and then I've gone all the way around with foil, and then just check that this is standing up correctly all the way around, and I'm going to just bake this for 10 minutes. As you can see, I've got other bits and pieces on the tray which I've been cooking for other things which I'm making. I like to use my oven just once because I like to, after I've done it, I like to put it on a deep clean. So I'm going to pop that one in the oven just for 10 minutes. Obviously I'll bake the rest fully. So I've gone ahead and conditioned this clay, which was the darker orange, and I mixed a little bit of yellow in with that just to get that pumpkin-y sort of colour. And then what I've done in here is I've conditioned some white clay. I don't know if you can see this. And then I've taken this hole cutter here, which I've got a smaller one of that, and I've popped it into the end of my, don't think you can see that, but it's in the end of there. I'll show you what happens. This gives you a nice frosting sort of thing. Remember, when you're going to condition your white clay, you must wash your hands first and make sure any of the surfaces that you're going to use are clean, because any colour which you've got on your fingers, can you see I've got a little bit of yellow, that would come straight off onto my clay and you'd have a mustardy yellowy sort of tinge to your clay. Okay, now you don't have to use one of these. I'll show you in a minute with a piping nozzle, but I'm just going to use this because I've got it and it works quite well and quickly. I got this from a charity shop, but they do sell them on eBay, and I've seen them before, as I say, onto Facebook Marketplace. So you just turn this. Now these have lots and lots of different things you can put in there. You can get like straight lines and all different heart shapes and things like that, which you can put on there on the end to get a nice shape coming off. And I'm just going to roll it through like so until I've got a nice long piece. And that's all the clay I've got in the machine. There we go. So just lay that down there. Actually I won't. I will get a clean piece of paper. There we go, a nice clean piece of paper, and I will lay that down, and I will take a clean knife. I can find one. I'll just use these scissors for now. These are clean, and just cut the end off there. I'm going to go and scrub my hands now, and then I'll come back and show you how I work with this. So scrub my hands so they're really clean. I use a little nail brush to get it right, and then I'm just going to take the dough, I'm just going to twist it slowly around, and then you're going to get a lovely icing shape coming out. Okay, and this will look like it's got cream which has been piped all around the top of the pie. Just take my time because I want all the squirrels to sort of just be even, so we've got them sort of round up in a nice line. Okay, don't twist too hard, otherwise you might break it. There we go. So I've got it all the way to the end. So there you go, one nice lovely twist. And then once you've got your pie out and you've got your size right, you'll just join, you'll put it on top of your pie, and then you'll just join that together like so. So we're just waiting for the pie to come out of the oven now. So now I've baked my case for 10 minutes. Still needs to have another 20 minutes to bake. But what I'm going to do is just colour it slightly. And I've got my knife and I've got some pastels. I'm going to try and colour the top of this so it looks a bit more like pastry. I'm just going to take some of those bits and a little bit of this red, not too much, and a little bit of the brown. Now I want to say that if you are a child and you're using this for the first time, don't use that oven without a parent around. It can be really dangerous. Even though it's on such a low temperature, I still had to use oven gloves to get it out, and I had to leave it to stand for a few minutes before it was cool enough for me to touch. So be really, really careful with it. So I've taken a little bit of pastels and I've just shaved them off, and I've put some Fimo liquid with them. I'm just mixing it in, and then I'm going to pop it around the edges of my pie, because I didn't think the pie itself has come out actually the same colour as I've made for the filling. So I'm just trying to see if I can get it a bit more to look a little bit like cooked pastry. I'm adding this, and this seems to be going on quite nice, and it's getting a nice effect to it. It looks like pastry which has just sort of been cooked. So I'm going to put that all the way around to the top, and then I'm going to just put it around the very inside here like so, where it's just going to be seen over the, I'm just going to put it around the top, and then I'm going to put some of it around the outside just like that, just to cover that, to colour it a little bit so it looks a little bit darker than the pastry, than the filling which I'm going to put in it. So I've been all around and covered that one, and now I've got my pie filling which is slightly lighter, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this larger cutter here and I'm going to cut out my piece of filling. The reason I'm doing that with a cutter and it's slightly larger is that I'm going to push all of the dough down, and you won't see it because you will have the icing on the top. So I'll push that through. I have to give it a twist, and it's not like pastry where it sort of shrinks back. If you were cutting pastry now, you would have a problem if you moved it because the pastry underneath would shrink, but it seems to sort of stay the same sort of size. So just remove those spare pieces from the side, and I think that's a nice thick. Oh, I've got hair. Oh my goodness. Let's move that out. So even though I was really careful, I still picked up a hair there. Alright, so now I'm going to take my knife, make sure it's clean, and slide it under. Now you can use a kitchen knife to do that if you haven't got one of these. Right, and then I'm going to take my pie and very gently, I'm going to just gently ease it into my case, like so. Okay, so you've got a lovely pie filling in there. Pop it in and then just gently push it down all over the top. There, so that's sitting in there beautifully. So that's when I was pushing my pie crust up in the beginning, I sort of put that around to see the sort of size I wanted it before I popped it into the oven, and that will be okay to use it like that. Now I've got a tiny bit of black there which I'm going to try and remove. I don't know how, but sometimes you just pick up little bits, and I'm going to just go over it with my finger until it's all flattened out on the top, and that will flatten out eventually. It's just going to take a minute or so to push it out. Okay, and you'll get rid of that where that was. I want this pie to look like the dolls made it. I don't want it to look perfect. This is for them to go for their party, so we want it looking like a doll's pie. So when the children play with it, they'll be able to think it's their dolls who've made this pie. Oh, that hole's almost gone. Keep going. Smoothing it out until you've got rid of it. There, it's gone. Okay, so that's your pie. Okay, just going to wash my hands again before I touch the white. So I've washed my hands off again, and I'm just going to come back now with the white. I'm just going to lay it onto the top. Now, what you can do is go around with your Fimo liquid and pop a little ring all the way around the top if you wish. Okay, there we go. Bring that to there. I'm going to cut off my little end just there, making sure my knife was clean. Okay, and then taking my little tool, I'm going to move those together until I get a nice join. So I'm just going to sort of pull them together first, and then you want to sort of like pull them along those lines where you've got your curl, until you get it looking like it's just all one piece of cream on there. Okay, and then I'm going to just straighten it out. It has got a little bit of stretch in it, and gently push it down. Okay, and there we go. And there you have your pumpkin pie. So I'm just going to bake that now for another 20 minutes, and then we'll see what it looks like at the end. So here is the larger pumpkin pie I made, and then I made a smaller one as well, but I used just the plain, I didn't mix that one. And you can see I have got a slightly different colour on the pie, on the crust of the pie. Probably it would be better if I'd made it a little bit more yellowy, I think, but it's not too bad. I think it looks okay. What I could have done, I thought afterwards, is I could have cut a piece out of it before I baked it, but you would have to do that with the pastry on the first cut. You'd have to cut it and then bake it and then fill it and then cut the internal bits as well. I'm just going to go around this one. Okay, I don't know if you can see, it's quite rough around the edges. So what I'm going to do is just take my nail file and just gently file around the edges of it. And you'll see you'll get a nice smooth finish there coming around. So we've got two lovely little pies for Halloween. Now if you wanted to, you could varnish this, and I think because it's pastry it'd probably look better if it's just left as it is, so I'm quite pleased with that. You could also, if you wanted to, put some pastels on it to change the colours of the pastry on the bottom, but I'm quite happy, I think, rather as it is, so I'm just going to leave it like that. So that is my pie all finished. I'll just take the file and just neaten it up around, and there we go. So these are our two finished pumpkin pies. I hope you like them. Goodbye.